Welcome to the Global Health Program MA Info session. Today we're talking about fall 2022 and 2023 admissions. However, we have a lot of students here who will be applying in future years, so this information will still be relevant. We'll start with some introductions. My name is Brittany Wright. I'm the MA Academic Advisor for the Global Health Program. And Seth?
Oh, hi, yes. I am Seth Hanna. I am the academic coordinator for the program, and I'm also a lecturer, and I teach one of the core courses in the program.
Okay, so many of you know that our applications are now open for next fall 2022. We only accept students for fall quarter of each academic year, so our priority deadline coming up is December 15th, and our extended deadline is February 3rd. We have several questions coming in about, does it matter which deadline you apply for? And the answer to that is no. We have our first set of deadlines so that faculty can begin reviewing the applications prior to the end of fall quarter. And so usually during that batch, we'll admit about 5 of our strongest applicants, and then we'll put all of the applications back into one pool and review them. So that's more for students if you're on the very competitive end and you need an admissions offer sooner rather than later. Perhaps you're applying for many different schools. Good opportunity. However, all students who apply during either deadline will have a fair opportunity to be accepted into the program. So just a quick recap. This is open to all students and it can be completed in one academic year. So students will take 3 classes each quarter. Our typical student profile is of course, our current global health undergraduate students or students who are in the field of biology, medical anthropology, international health, public health, students interested in applying to PhD and medical school programs, and students who have completed a global health field experience. That is a requirement to apply for the program. So a global health field experience could be anything from volunteering at a hospital, a health or global health related research position. It could be a study abroad in a health related context. So the point here is that you're getting your hands dirty in the field of global health. So it doesn't have to be international experience. It can definitely be domestic, since we consider the United States part of the globe when we're referring to global health. And then we also have many working professionals who are interested and successful in our program as well. So our MA is a consolidated 1-year program that focuses specifically on social epidemiology, global health research methodology, medical anthropology, and global health policy and diplomacy. We also have a course on global health program management. So we'll talk a little bit more about the core courses, but I'm going to turn it over to Seth, who can tell us a little more about what you can do with an MA in global health.
Thank you, Brittany. So I think what's really exciting and unique about our program is that it does sort of build on some of the foundations of basic global health practice, but adds to it a little bit of a social science twist, especially grounding our program in medical anthropology and understandings of sort of cross-cultural basis of health and healthcare really is what sets our program apart. And that's really valuable for you if you're going to professional school, if you're going to actually try to work in the field, to be able to have that really important foundation as part of your core competencies. Will make you stand out and be a more competitive candidate, whether it's for a master's program in public health or going to medical school or getting that job as a project manager, doing health intervention or research, whatever it is, having this ability to flexibly understand all the complicated factors that go into producing, better health around the world, and understanding the organizational and institutional complexities, all that stuff will help you stand out. So with this program is really, we're trying to provide you with that extra layer on top of the sort of interdisciplinary, really professional skills that you need, things like social epidemiology, research skills, analytical skills, All those things are really important, and we give you that through our engagement with other professional schools at UCSD. So working in collaboration with faculty at the medical school, faculty at the School of Public Health, and then our own faculty in global health and also in anthropology. All those things go together to sort of hold up this sort of triple threat that we're trying to produce here in our program, which is very unique compared to other global health master's programs around the country. Usually they're kind of very standard kind of, oh, let's train you in epidemiology, let's give you some basic skills about how to do program management and development, but none of that is grounded within kind of what can make global health work better currently and in the future. And so that's really what we're trying to do with the program. And so you can go on with this degree and have an entry-level position in a nonprofit and an NGO that delivers healthcare services with the WHO, with research programs within universities. Of course, it also will allow you to go on to further graduate study as well. And so it just makes you a more adaptable, more competitive candidate. It gives you an additional layer of a different lens to look at and understand these health programs that you'll be engaging in, and it'll help you, build your career in global health and stand out from other candidates.
Okay, so let's talk about the requirements to apply for the program. So the application is submitted through GradApply. You're required to have 2 essays and writing samples. So I'm getting a lot of questions about the contents of what these writing samples should include. So my advice is that if you have anything related to health, global health, anthropology, anything within that sphere, I really recommend that you would include that as your writing sample. However, the purpose of this is to see your communication style, to see that you're able to communicate your research, and that you would be able to succeed at the graduate writing level. But again, I would recommend that if you do have health-related topics, those would be ideal. So if you've done the senior thesis or a global health-related class, you could have a paper that you submitted for an assignment. The length, I would say, definitely over 3 to 4 pages double spaced, and there's really no maximum of what that writing sample can be. However, I don't think any of the admissions committee is going to read a 200-page writing sample. So something that just really gives a good sense of your writing style and communication style, and shows that you can incorporate research, perhaps annotated bibliographies, whatnot. And then we also want to see your resume or CV and a statement of purpose. So in that statement of purpose, we want to know more about your interests, your background, and most importantly, how this program fits in with your future goals. So we're looking for students who are a good fit for this program, and this is going to benefit for their next steps. So, and that's okay if you are in that boat that you don't know exactly what your next steps are, but you're very passionate about the field and you have a sense of a direction that you're going, or maybe you have 2 or 3 different options, and this is going to be a stepping stone to help you pursue that next option. That's fine as well. We don't need you to have every single stone turned over for that. Did you want to add something, Seth?
I do. I think the statement of purpose is especially important for students that maybe don't have a strong track record of global health coursework, students that maybe have been engaging in more bioscience curricula, but really want to apply that to global health. We need to be able to see, how your science background is going to relate with, what you want to do in the program, how it's going to, further your ultimate career goals. And so we want to make sure that, you are going to be, able to, understand and learn within the structure of a really kind of social science grounded, aspects of our curriculum. And so if you come in without much exposure to that, it can be challenging for some of those students. And so your statement of purpose, if you come from that kind of a background, a non-global healthy, non-anthropological kind of a background, it's good to let us know, like, yes, I'm genuinely interested in adding this to my toolkit. And I think that I can do, this kind of work, and it's going to benefit me in this particular way. That's going to be really important for us to see if you don't have a lot of coursework or recommendations from global health faculty, et cetera. That's going to be your opportunity to sell, your ability to really mesh with the program well. So it's about demonstrating that fit, and also your ability to be able to work well within the structure of that kind of curriculum.
Yes, and this is an opportunity as well if there's something that you need to explain, if you had some hardships,
Absolutely.
undergraduate time, if there's certain grades that you need to explain, this is the place to do it. And I would say this is probably one of the single most important aspects of your application would be your statement of purpose and how you're making that connection. And then we also require 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. If you have 2 strong letters and 1 weak letter, I would not bother just getting a 3rd letter just to have a letter. I think you want to focus on the quality, not the quantity in this case. So don't reach out to a 3rd person just to have that 3rd letter if they barely know you. And because I have seen letters where they say, this student asked me to write a letter, I don't know them very well, and they were in my class, the end. So that's not helpful for your case. So I would not encourage you to get 3 letters if that was the case. So 1 needs to be a faculty member that you've worked with or taken a course with. Maybe it's a research advisor. And then the 2nd letter needs to be someone who can speak directly on your global health field experience, or perhaps an internship or a supervisor from a job within a health related field. So a faculty member that you've taken a class with, and a supervisor or faculty member that you have completed a field experience opportunity or work experience with.
Yeah, very often it is the somebody from your field experience that will write that 2nd letter. So 1 will be from a faculty member, and 1 will be from somebody who was your supervisor in your field experience, and that can give us really 2 important angles, like how you work in the real world, and also how you are academically.
So for our application requirements, we also want students to have completed their bachelor's degree by the beginning of the program. So we ask that students have, occasionally we'll have a student who needs to complete 1 course in summer, and that is usually okay. But we want you to have the majority of your coursework completed by spring. So like I said, 1 summer course is not a problem, but if you still have a 1/3 of your requirements to complete and you're saying that you're going to complete them in summer, that might be a red flag to some of our committee members. And for our global health students, it's highly recommended. Take your global health core courses if you have not already. Get them done this fall and winter if you have to, but it's really helpful for us to see how well you've done in your global health courses. So the courses I'm referring to are Global Health 20, Introduction to Global Health 148, which is Global Health and Cultural Diversity, and then Global Health 181, Essentials of Global Health. The program management class is a little less lower priority when in terms of completing those core courses. So we just want to see how you do in those courses, preferably. You need to have your field experience completed, or have postgraduate global health related volunteer or work experience. So we have some applicants who are currently working in the health field right now as a nurse or in other global health related experiences. So maybe you don't work in a 3rd world country per se, but you're a nurse who works with a low income, certain cultural backgrounds or whatnot. So you're working with a very diverse platform of clients. So that's something that we would also take into consideration. And then you also do need to have undergraduate coursework in either global health, medical social sciences, international studies, public health, or related fields. We want to see that you have some foundation coming into the program to succeed in the graduate coursework. So when your first quarter begins, you'll have a global health seminar and a global health research course. And so it's really important for you to have some framework to get started in those courses. And then we also ask that students complete a statistics course, and that's something that you could also complete prior to the beginning of the program in summer.
If you're worried about your level of preparation, it is, one thing that you can always do is take a couple of courses or 1 course in the summer, whether it's brushing up on stats or enrolling in like Global Health 148. That'll be a really great way to sort of prepare you and bring you up to speed before you enter the program, if you have any kind of anxiety about how well it's going to go.
Yes. So we often, if we have a student come into the program from outside of UCSD or the global health major, we'll often have them either participate in Global Health 148 in summer or serve in a TA role to gain that exposure as well. So we're flexible in some sense, and we look at the applicant as a whole. We're not eliminating any applicants based on one certain criteria. So we look at how all the pieces fit together. And ultimately, we want students who this is going to help them in their next steps, but is also a good fit for the program. We want you to be happy. We want the professors to feel that it's a good experience for everyone as well. So the application fee for US citizens and permanent residents is $120, and international applicants pay $140. You can apply for a fee waiver in your when you're in grad apply for your application, and they make the decision to approve or deny that. If for some reason they deny you and you are in dire situation where you're unable to afford your application, please reach out to me at ma-globalhealth@ucsd.edu to see if I can help provide any support there. So you will apply, if you're a current student, you would apply during fall/winter of your senior year. Otherwise, we have students who have graduated several years ago and who are applying for the program. And like I mentioned, you must complete all your requirements by the time the program begins in fall. And ideally for global health majors, you would complete all of those by spring quarter. So we have an option for current UCSD global health majors. That's called our contiguous degree. And we also have a standalone MA option, which is designed for all outside students or non-global health majors. So basically, if you're a global health minor, you pretty much would fit into our contiguous degree option on paper. And I'll talk a little bit more about what those how those requirements differ. So all students will take 9 courses, and you'll maintain a 3.0 GPA throughout your whole each quarter as a graduate student. And as we mentioned, you'll choose between a professional track or a research track concentration. We'll get a little more into that. And what that means is you're either going to complete a master's thesis, which is our research track, or a comprehensive exam, which is the professional track. And both of those will be completed during spring quarter, finals week of spring quarter. So our curriculum involves, we have a global health master's course seminar. We have a global health and program management course, introduction to global health research, social epidemiology, global health policy, and a seminar in medical and psychological anthropology. So those are our 6 core courses. And then in addition, you'll complete 3 elective requirements. I'm going to have Dr. Hannah just mention a little bit about our seminar in medical and psychological anthropology.
Great. Yes. So this is a really unique and valuable part of the program, in my opinion. So this is a seminar where you don't have coursework. However, there are a series of visiting scholars who come in to deliver lectures based upon their current research. And so these are scholars in global health, anthropology, sometimes sociology, other fields, and they are doing current cutting edge research in this field, and they come and deliver lectures based upon their current research. And so you get a chance to really hear about what's going on in the field, you get a chance to engage with them, ask questions, and really, I'm in a talk. It's right by the front door. Sorry about that. Yes, and so it's a really great way for you to get exposure to the sort of state of the art in the field. And so what you do in this class is you attend each class, you take notes, you participate, you ask questions, and then you have to document your attendance. And that's basically it's not a standard course. It's basically you are participating in this collective sort of interrogation of current scholarship in the field of sort of global health and social science. And so I think it's a really exciting part of the curriculum.
So for students who are from outside the university or outside the global health major or minor, we will require that you take 1 additional course, either Global Health 148 or Global Health and Cultural Diversity course, or Essentials of Global Health. So these are a course you're basically going to take as one of your electives. On here we have that the professional track will take 2 of the following courses, but we've actually narrowed it down. It seems to work better for you to only take 1 of the courses if we can get you covered in the summer to come in so that you're prepared to thrive in fall quarters. So that's something for outside students. You and I will be working one-on-one to basically find the best solution to pack this in, and then you'll still have 2 additional requirements, elective requirements. So here's just a quick sample plan. We have our Intro to Global Health and our core seminar in fall. In winter, you'll do the social epidemiology and global health policy. And if you're on the research track, instead of for your elective requirements, you're actually going to enroll in independent research. And so you'll be working with a faculty advisor, and you'll be independently gathering information to gather articles and do readings to support your thesis. So over the 2 quarters, you're going to be developing an outline, an annotated bibliography, and a draft and a final product for your thesis, which is due at the end of spring quarter. And for those on the professional track, your elective is going to be some of the elective offerings that we have in the program. So it varies each year. This year, we have an elective on design thinking for global health and health system strengthening with Dr. Ellen Card, and community health workers and clinical perspectives in global health. We also have some electives available in outside departments, but most of our students end up taking our global health specific electives. And then we have in the past had electives such as experiencing epidemics, anthropologies of infectious disease, and a few others. So as I mentioned, those will alter each year. And so that's going to bring us back to talking about choosing your track, the comprehensive exam, and the research track. And one thing to note is you don't need to come into the program knowing which track you're going to choose. That's something that you'll choose by the middle of fall quarter. And we have an orientation for all of our accepted students right before fall quarter begins, and we give you more information on narrowing down the different tracks and getting situated. So I'm going to let Dr. Hannah talk a little bit about each of the tracks and what they entail and what you can expect.
Great. So I think this is one of the biggest decisions that you'll have to make, but students usually have a sort of feeling about like what they feel is best for them. And I think some students who really do want to go on to do additional graduate study, or they want to go to professional school, sometimes they feel that a thesis is really the way for them to demonstrate some detailed knowledge in depth about one particular field that you're really interested in. And so if that's the case, then you will choose a topic, you'll develop a committee, and you will sort of curate a direction of deep learning in one particular topic or area. Now, usually that's a literature review in most cases, because there's a kind of a short window for you to get this done. But if you do have some original research that you're already working on, or you have a faculty member who has a project that you want to be involved in, that you have a relationship with, sometimes it is possible for you to collect new data, to analyze new data, and really produce some original research as well through your thesis. So typically it is a literature review, but it's also possible if you work quickly to get an IRB human subject review done, you can engage in some of that. So it's not something to be sort of scared of. It's something that is totally doable within the confines of this program. It's just, it's self-directed and self-led. No one's going to assign you an advisor. You have to sort of come up with the idea. You have to approach faculty members. You have to establish those relationships. And so that's typically the biggest challenge for students on the thesis track, is just, cobbling together their one main advisor by the end of fall term, and then having your complete 3-person committee in place by the middle of winter quarter, and then making sure you get started early so you don't run out of time in such a short one-year program. The comprehensive exam really involves one exam at the end of your time here in spring quarter. It's consisting of a series of sort of longer form essay questions, and then a series of maybe 10 or 15 shorter essay questions that are designed to demonstrate your mastery of some of the core competencies that we're trying to teach across all of the curriculum. So each core course instructor submits a series of questions that represent the main ideas that they want you to take away from their courses. They also provide some text for a study guide so that you can have a sense of what you're going to be expected to have been able to remember and sort of engage with in that comprehensive exam. So the short essay questions are meant to be kind of recall, right? So you can actually demonstrate that you understand these concepts. And then the 4 or 5 long responses that you have to do are really your ability to sort of integrate concepts, be able to demonstrate your ability to apply them to real world problems, and things like that. And so it's a combination of demonstrating mastery of the ideas and recall the ideas, and then demonstrating that you can understand how those ideas relate to one another and how you might apply those into a real world situation. And so that's what the comprehensive exam is meant to accomplish. And it is something that you have to sort of, sit down and do, in this one little, one stretch of time. And so I believe this year it's going to be, in person. Your live body is going to be in a room. You'll have the ability to have some notes with you, but you won't know the questions ahead of time. And, you will have to sort of do it in that modality. Last year, we did it all remote, so it was a little bit different structure. So this year it will be, I believe, an in-person exam that will be proctored in some fashion. But it involves those two concepts, and everyone has to do a portfolio, which is also a really important part of the program, which is helping to support your professionalization. And maybe we'll talk about that on a different slide.
Okay, so let's talk about the cost of attendance. So these are figures from the last academic year. So it comes to about 17,000 total, and that includes tuition, health insurance, whatnot. So graduate students are able to apply for financial aid. One thing I want to mention, I can't hear you.
Oh, it's okay, go.
Oh, okay. So one thing that we want to mention is that if students do gain a position as a reader or a TA of 25%, which is 10 hours a week. So usually reader or TA positions come in either 25 or 50%. It actually covers your registration, tuition, and health insurance. So you would only be responsible for around $200 in fees during the quarter that you're employed. Students can be employed up to 50% per quarter. So that's 20 hours. The Global Health Program has several positions available each quarter, and we encourage our students to apply to all other outside positions. We've been very fortunate. So we've had 2 cohorts of students come through the program so far, and we have had 100% of our students gainfully employed and having their tuition and fees covered, again, with the exception of this couple $100 per quarter that you would be responsible for. So that's just something.
Brittany, can you advance the slide?
To which one?
The cost slide. You're still on the elective slide.
Oh, really? Is it not showing the cost?
I see sample electives.
Oh, is that what everyone is seeing? For me, it shows cost of attendance. Let's see if anyone in the chat. Uh-oh.
What slides do you all see?
Sample electives.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Maybe close your share and reshare.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let's see, stop share. Looks like my computer might be freezing. There we go. Okay. What does everyone see now? Cost of attendance? Okay. Sorry about that. I'm not really sure what was going on. My screen was showing that. Are you sharing the screen, Nasa? Okay. Let's see. Okay, so just kind of backtracking. So the majority of your fees, if you are employed, would be covered through your tuition remission as a student employee. And that's something that I work very closely with our students all summer long prior to fall quarter beginning to get our students employed. So that's definitely one of my priorities. And our goal is to always, within our power, have 100% of our students employed who want to be employed.
So it may look kind of scary, the cost, but it really, once we get everyone employed, it shouldn't be something that you super worry about. We'll
So
take care of you.
I should also mention that if you're employed, then not only do you you get your tuition and fee remission, but you also will get paid an hourly rate. So it's not that it's only covering your tuition. You will also get a monthly paycheck as well. So that ranges. A reader usually makes close to $20 an hour, and I believe a TA makes closer to 30 an hour. So it's pretty good. When you do all the numbers together with your tuition remission. So next, please. Okay. So I already mentioned this information about employment. That's what it was showing on my screen. I'm sorry it wasn't showing up for you. We also have some other university resources available to us. So there's the GSA, which gives funding to graduate students in the department to help with, say you have a conference that you want to attend and present at, you can apply for funding there. They also host social events, and they provide some funding to students who want to put on their own events in the department. The Global Health Program also has some funds available for our master's students. If you get, if there's a conference that you get selected to participate in or whatnot, you can apply directly to the program, able to provide a couple $100s to help support you. So our ultimate goal during the program is we want to give our students as many professional development opportunities as possible. Lots of exposure, lots of networking and connections. So the students who are proactive in the program, they'll really get a lot out of it. So my advice would be, if you're accepted into the program, take advantage of all the opportunities. There are a lot of events, and there's a lot of graduate level seminars, conferences, workshops on campus, anything from refugee, migrant health to women's reproductive rights and whatnot. So there's a very rich academic community to get engaged with. And we also have a writing hub, which helps our students with writing research papers, presenting research, developing research presentations and whatnot, working on your personal statements, your CVs. So there are a lot of resources outside of the Global Health Program. And most of our students who go to UCSD now, that UCSD is a very large network and filled with many resources if you go out and actually use them.
And also, professors who are willing to, work with you, provide you with opportunities for, research assistantships potentially. And then some have actually gone on and had employment, with faculty that they met during their time in the program. So there's lots of ways to leverage, the faculty and the opportunities that you'll have during the program.
Yeah, and so we don't have a slide on it here, but I want to mention, I have a feeling many of you will want to know where our current alumni are, or where are they now, right? So we just had our second cohort graduate from the program. So our first year, we had 8 students in the program. We had 15 last year. So again, this is a very new master's program. It was developed very organically. We saw a lot of our global health students wanting to pursue additional education, and they felt that there was a gap. There's public health programs, there's international health, but there's no specific global health level Masters of Arts. There's one other program that we know of at Arizona State University. So this was really a push from the student body to develop this next foundation or platform. So we have a lot of students who want something to enhance their application for medical school, or we have students who want to go directly into working at the professional level in global health. And so that we saw this need, and we worked with our faculty and the resources on campus to get this program together and provide that opportunity for students who, perhaps don't want to pursue a Master of Science degree or a PhD, or perhaps you do want to pursue a PhD, but you need additional time to develop this foundation and solidify your interest and get relationships with faculty. So we're seeing students use this program in a lot of different avenues. And, we have a lot of students who say, okay, what kind of job can I get with a master's? And of Arts. So we're not saying that you're going to right out the door go and be the director of the CDC by any means, but this is going to open doors for you to get into higher level management positions. And so a lot of, just for example, but a lot of companies, when you look at job listings and whatnot, they're going to want either 5 to 7 years of experience or related education. So this is just another thing that you can add to your resume, and you'll also gain professional experience and additional skills that are going to make you a better applicant. So some of the positions that we're seeing students go into, so we have students getting into PA programs, medical school. We have a student who just graduated and is going to the joint doctoral program at SDSU and UCSD. Another student who's applying to law school. We have a student working in program management with Aya Healthcare. We have some students who are research associates, and they were actually hired by faculty at UCSD after their time. We have a student attending nursing school, working as a clinical research assistant, and a student who's gone into an MSW program, a student who's working as a case investigator at the County of San Diego Health and Human Services. So as you can see, we're having students anywhere from working at the county level to getting into med school, just to kind of give you an idea of what the outcome could be like for you for attending the program. Seth, would you want to add?
There was one student who was working kind of at an entry level, for public health department, and after going through the program, developed some additional skills in project management, and was able to actually get promoted into a management role after completing the program as well. And so there's sort of entry level with a bachelor's degree. You're talking about getting in at the very ground floor of an organization as as an associate or as an entry level person. But having a master's degree under your belt, the additional knowledge and experience that you have from that program can actually make you qualified for higher level positions within the organization and help you advance, more quickly from the inside. And so if you're wondering, well, why don't I just go with my bachelor's and go to work at some organization? Well, having a master's degree places you at a level of eligibility for a wide variety of higher level positions, assistant director, manager, things like that you wouldn't be able to get with only a bachelor's degree. So it does help you sort of smooth that pathway for upward mobility and promotion within an organization as well. So that's something to keep in mind.
So now we'll turn it over to our audience and ask, we're here to answer any of your questions. So if you want to just, raise your hand. Oops.
Juliana, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, I was actually wondering how if the Global Health Department helps students get involved with the GSA program, because I didn't know that was a thing, just the Graduate Student Association.
So I can answer that. Seth, are you able to see me? For some reason, my screen is black.
I can see you.
Okay, so we nominate 2 student reps to serve as our GSA reps during our orientation, and they're the liaison between our grad students and the GSA. And so they provide information to us about how to apply for these opportunities, but they also on the GSA website, they have additional information as well, like for the conference funding and whatnot. But a lot of it is done directly working with our student representatives. And again, that's another leadership opportunity. So there's monthly meetings that our GSA reps will attend, and then they'll relay the information to our students.
Does that answer your question, Juliana?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, cool. Daniel?
Hi, I was particularly interested in knowing if there was a way for us to see, or maybe see a list breakdown of the prior cohorts thesis projects. I'm just really curious what they've focused on in those throughout those years so far.
Yeah, so actually I'm working on that on our Global Health website right now. So if you go on the Global Health website, if you go to our students under the graduate tab, I've started to upload some of our previous cohorts thesis information. But if you actually want to send me an email to the MA Global Health email address, I'd be happy to send you a list of the topics that our students have completed in the past. I can, give me a moment here, I can pull up some of our previous topics.
Yeah, I might have some in my.
So one of our students looked at what medical schools are not teaching in terms of like including the cultural competency and these additional factors. Let me moment here.
Yeah, she actually did like a comprehensive study of medical school curricula, Daniel, and she sort of identified, sort of some of the gaps in the curriculum in terms of addressing healthcare disparities and cultural differences in people's healthcare experiences, and sort of did this roadmap and this critique of the current state of training for medical students, and tried to make some recommendations for how they could adapt their curriculum to be more responsive to those health equity concerns, which I thought was a pretty cool project. Another person, she was actually already a medical doctor. She is in the Navy, and she's a surgeon actually, but she wanted to understand a little bit better about some of the outcomes for surgery for auto accidents in different populations in different communities in San Diego. And so she was able to do a study comparing experiences of surgery and care seeking among the different populations near the border in terms of rates of accidents and rates of recovery and access to surgery and all this sort of stuff. So she basically turned her medical specialty and expertise and did a shift to focus more on some of the social factors that might be driving different quality metrics and outcomes in an actual population. And she was able to do that through the program, which is really cool. Another student came from more of a science background, and she was interested in, I believe, diabetes care in, I think it was Thailand. And so she, looked at, the process of care in Thailand around diabetes. So there's a variety of different, things like that were kind of original research-based kind of stuff. 2 years ago, a student did a social media-based study where she did like a big aggregation of social media topics and was able to do a thesis out of that. And these are just like off the top of my head. I'm sorry, I don't have more details, but those are just the flavor of some of the things that students have been able to do.
Great, thank you.
Arthritis in Asian community.
Oh, arthritis. Yeah, maybe it was osteoarthritis. It wasn't diabetes. It was osteoarthritis. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to send me an email, I can get you a list of that. No problem, because we're actually working on getting that on our website now.
Ivy?
Hi, I was just wondering what the workload is like for students working as readers or TAs. And I'm asking mainly in terms of hours and duties. And do most students read or TA for global health courses?
I would say the majority of students TA or serve as a reader in global health courses. We have mostly reader positions in the global health program. So some students would prefer a TA position. So they'll look at outside departments. However, I'd say probably like 80% of our students are employed by the global health program. I'd say in terms of workload, I think fall quarter is probably the heaviest workload, combining the TA and reader experience and also the for the program. I think it's just a lot of adjusting to a master's level curriculum, and then also getting used to the flow of serving as a reader or TA. From what I understand, it seems pretty reasonable. So again, the 25% is 10 hours per week and 50% is 20 hours per week. So time management is definitely going to come into play here. But from what I've heard, I know most students, so we have some students who serve as a 50% TA or reader, they're in the program and they also have an outside job. That usually seems to be a bit much. So I wouldn't recommend that. I know some students can't step away from their outside job. So I'd recommend taking a 25% position on campus. But from, so if it's a 10, the thing about the reader and TA positions is that some weeks it's going to be lighter and some weeks it's going to be heavier depending on the grading needs. So maybe some weeks it'll be pretty chill in a sense, and then there'll be midterms and finals and whatnot. So the workload may increase at that point just due to the demands of that course. So it's just always kind of a balancing act. But I think it's also another important skill for our students to gain is to kind of learn those time management and setting those boundaries and having that discipline to help you persevere through the program. But from what I've heard, I haven't heard of any students crashing and burning, and I haven't heard too many complaints. So I think it's pretty manageable as long as you're good and focused and whatnot. So
can I say a couple things?
Program. Yeah.
Let me say a couple things. So Nina, I can put you on the spot. You TA'd for me. Like it's variable, right? Like every professor is slightly different in terms of what their expectations are, but in general, we try to be reasonable and not to overburden our students. And the type of things that I give my students to do, my TAs and readers to do, is to grade papers, reading papers, and in the pandemic modality where we had lots of stuff to do online, lots of essays, lots of writing. Those things, we split up and we're working on standardizing workloads so that professors, are expected to do, 20% of the grading themselves or something like that. Right, Brittany? So the professors have to also participate. And so usually there's one or two readers or TAs and everything gets divided up. And depending on whether or not things are multiple choice, short answer kind of assessments, or whether or not they're essay based, or whether there's discussion post to grade, the workload can fluctuate. But I haven't had students say like, oh man, like I'm overburdened by this. I'm working more than my 10 hours per week. So in general, we've gotten pretty good feedback. I try to be sensitive with my students to make sure that it's reasonable. But another thing you have to understand is that this is also a good opportunity for you to get some personal relationship building with that professor as well. And so not only is it like you're working and you have tasks and they send you things to do, you're also meeting with them every week. You're also getting a sense of how they think about things, how they design their courses, how they evaluate and assess the work that students are pursuing. So it gives you a chance to get a lot of insight into how this is done. And so if you've never done it before and you're nervous about it, hopefully you'll have an instructor that's willing to meet with you every week, walk you through the expectations, and help you develop the way of evaluating and how they want you to grade. And so I think it's a great opportunity. I don't see it necessarily as work. I actually see it as a deep learning opportunity for you in addition to actually doing some work. Nina, you want to have anything to add since you've done it before?
Well, I was just gonna ditto what you were saying about getting to know the professor that you're working with. I feel like, especially at UCSD, that's been one of the easiest, or not, I don't want to say easiest in a negative way, but it's been really nice to get to know professors through that. And then this quarter, I'm also taking for 2 classes, and I feel or reader, I guess, or I'm not sure exactly which one, but I feel like it's very manageable, and it's it's a nice contrast to taking classes. So it doesn't feel like you said a negative thing, but it's a different type of learning that you end up getting paid for. And like you said, get a lot of your tuition reimbursed. So I feel like it's something I like about the program, or what interested me about it.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Also a good opportunity to develop relationships with faculty and those connections as well.
Definitely. Anyone else? Any other questions?
I have a question. Hi, my name's Jay. I was just curious because I know that a lot of the other master's programs around global health have a practicum and a capstone project required. And I know that there's no field work exactly required, but there is an option of a course, I think, that I was talking about through email. And I was wondering if anyone could elaborate on that a bit.
Yeah, so I think you're referring to our Health Frontiers in Tijuana program. So that's a internship program where students will go. So you basically take a course during the week, and every other Saturday during the quarter, you'll actually go down to a clinic in Tijuana and work alongside medical students and doctors down there at the clinic. So they have several different roles within that opportunity. Some students will work in health education, others will help with health intake and health programs, or just assisting the doctors on site there. So that is definitely one internship component that we have as an option, and that would be an elective. So of those 3 electives, that's something that you can do throughout the program. The reason we don't have a practicum embedded into the program is that we would need to make it a 2-year program in order to facilitate all of that. And based on student feedback, they don't want a 2-year program. This program is attractive because it is 1 year. So many of our students already come into the program and already have this, we have students involved in practicum while in the program, but maybe it's not like for course credit. So there's opportunities on campus. We have groups like the Flying Sams, which is a student organization that does clinic trips in Ensenada. So there's a lot of opportunities to get involved, but maybe not necessarily directly part of your graduate curriculum. We do have students who are involved in those opportunities though, and they're using it to write their thesis, but realistically to complete a thesis, a practicum, and graduate level coursework in 1 year would not be very feasible. So if that's something that you're interested, the Health Frontiers in Tijuana program is an option. But other than that, we don't encourage you to, it would be challenging to do a, international practicum per se, while in a program that's an in-person program. But we do work with our students, and we are flexible in many senses. So if there's something that you're really interested in, we could figure out a way to potentially embed that in the program as well. So that's something that we could discuss one-on-one to see if there's a way to make that work if you had something in mind.
Yeah, and also like if you really want to do more research and really want to get your feet wet on the ground doing stuff, like you can just do that through the thesis. I mean, it frees up a lot of time. It takes away some of the electives.
So your independent research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can do that, a capstone type of a thing, but do that through your thesis. Do some original work, do your own field work, but you just have to start early and take the initiative to make it work. So it's possible to do a practicum type thing, as long as you sort of get on it real early and you have the right relationships with the professors to make it happen. Daniel?
I'm especially interested in the multidisciplinary aspect of this master's. And one question I have is, essentially, are there any hard limits on which departments we can work with? It's clear that biological sciences, social sciences, but are there any sort of departments that is not possible with?
So
I don't think so,
as long as it's health related or relevant. So say you're pursuing the thesis track and it has something to do with engineering, for example, if that faculty member has some health related expertise that connects to your thesis. So our director and Dr. Hannah both have to approve your thesis topic. So if they approve your thesis topic and it's within line of the, it has to be applicable to global health, very loose on what that could mean, because we want students to pursue their own interests. We're not going to tell you what to pursue. We're going to support you in pursuing your dreams. So not really any limitations as long as it's relevant.
Yeah, I agree with that. Daniel, I think, there are some students that are already working in biolabs that have, very clear things that they're doing and relationships with PIs. And they often ask, oh, can I continue what I'm already doing? And I say, you know what, you'd be surprised how you can flip or adapt something that doesn't seem like it's global health related, then making it global health related. And so we work closely with you and that faculty member to find a way to leverage what you already have expertise in, in the direction to make it applicable, and in line with the mission of the program. So I would say it's wide latitude, but we will ensure and insist that you adapt what you're doing or what you're interested in to make it, fit within the mission of the program. But we're sensitive and flexible.
The benefit of a small program. So
exactly.
We're anticipating a cohort of 15 to 20 students this coming year. So we're still staying at a relatively small size, while also opening up a few more spots to additional students.
Sounds good. Anyone else? No? Brittany, I guess no more other questions.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your time tonight and joining
Oh,
us.
wait, we got one here.
Okay.
Melissa says, does the 25% TA cover the international students fee?
Okay, that's a good question. So no, it does not. That actually just covers the base tuition and fees. It does not cover international. Occasionally, you can find a department that will cover those international fees, but I wouldn't count on it, and it's very rare. Yeah, so for international students, the tuition and fees for that is an additional 15,000 approximately. So the base 17,000 would be covered, but then you would still be responsible for the 15,000, and you could apply for FAFSA for financial aid for that, or other means. And then also you will be getting paid for your reader or TA position, so that could potentially help support you with that as well. But yes, that's a great question. So thank you for asking that.
Good. Anyone else? Yeah, Yesenia.
Hi, I just kind of randomly thought about this, but this is more for like everyone, if anyone knows how the application process for the graduate housing works. I would love to hear about that because I'm kind of looking into staying close to campus or on campus preferably. So if anyone knows, please feel free.
I can answer that. So we're able to nominate 2 of our students for priority housing. They call it shore housing, and this is related to on campus. All of our other students, as soon as you're accepted into the program, I'd recommend getting onto the housing wait list because there is a list. There's higher demand than there is supply. However, most students will, if you get on right away, there's a good chance you're going to get into housing, maybe not right away. Most of our students, we have a few who live on campus, but we have several that live off campus, either in nearby apartments or roommate situations. So we try to get our cohort connected really early. Once we accept all of our students, we get a Facebook group going and try and get a listserv going so that you can start networking with your cohort as well if you're interested in trying to find a living situation together. So, we're here to support you on that process as well, and I send out any resources possible. But the earlier, the better to get yourself situated for on-campus housing, because I know housing can be competitive, but we've never had a student who hasn't been able to find housing thus far. So that's just something we can navigate if you're accepted into the program, get you going on that right away.
Yeah, and another thing is like you will have a chance to sort of bond and network with your cohort. It's one of the other valuable parts of the program, small program. You can rely on each other. We do have another question that just came in, Brittany, from Mahiri. She's asking, how does the Global Health program look at students who apply after a gap year? And as like one of the main people on the admissions committee, we don't have an issue with it. We do not care. We think that it's perfectly fine. If you have more work experience, field experience, if you're even home, taking care of family, whatever you had to do, I don't see how it would affect my decision process in terms of admission at all. So that's not something to worry about whatsoever. Anyone else? All right. Well, Brittany, should we wrap?
Sounds like we are at the end here. So yeah, let's again, thank you so much for joining us, and we're looking forward to reviewing all your applications that come in. You're welcome to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions, or if you have any questions for Dr. Hanna, I can get you connected with him, or his information is also on the Global Health website under the contact info. We're both here to support you and answer any questions and make you feel good about becoming a part of our Global Health family. So again, don't be shy. We're here for you, and we really appreciate you being here tonight. So thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good to see you all, the familiar faces, and hopefully I'll see you in my application stack.
Yep.
Mhm. Bye, everyone. Have a great evening and a good productive quarter.
Yes.